Yesterday was supposed to be the boring day. The inflation number came in exactly where everyone said it would. No surprise, no drama. The S&P closed up 0.25%, a nothing day if you only read the headline. But the tape doesn't read headlines. 7 times sellers tried to break one line and lost. Two of the biggest stocks in America went opposite directions at full speed, and the loudest tell of the whole session never made a sound. This is the replay. Start the clock at 8:30 Wednesday morning, July CPI. The market wanted 3.4%. It got 3.4%, dead on the number. And here's your first lesson. The market had already made up its mind. Futures sat flat all night waiting for permission. The moment the print matched, the fear drained out. The VIX fell more than 5%, down to 14.5. And at 9:30, the S&P gapped up 37 points and opened at 77.65. Relief on the tape looks like a gap. Remember where that gap starts, 77.28. It matters later. Here's what the relief bought. About 5 minutes. The high of the entire day printed in the opening candle, 77.66. That was it. That was the top. Then the selling started, and it didn't stop for 2 hours. Understand what's happening here. Everybody who wanted to sell the news got handed a gift, a 37-point gap to sell into, and they took it, bar after bar, all morning. By 10:30, the index had given back 28 points, and that's where the real story of the day begins. 77.38. Nobody announced that line. No bank drew it. The tape built it live at 10:30 in the morning when the first wave of selling stopped dead at 77.37.95, the low of the entire day. Then the sellers came back. 11 o'clock, held. 5 past, held. 11:20, held. 11:30, 11:35, 11:40, held, held. 7 tests inside 70 minutes, and the floor gave up less than a point. Now look underneath that floor, the gap. 10 points of open air down to yesterday's close, and price never touched it. On a day when sellers had every excuse and 2 full hours of momentum, they could not fill a 10-point gap. File that away. It's the whole ball game. Now, while the index was fighting over one line, the market underneath it split clean in half. Micron opened up 5% and ran as high as 7 and change before settling up 4.9. Nvidia tacked on 3. The chips heard inflation contained and translated it into the money keeps flowing. Meta heard the same number, opened green, then bled for 6 straight hours, closed down 3.4 pennies off its low. Microsoft never even tried, opened below yesterday's close and finished down 2.25. Same news, same morning, opposite verdicts. That's why the Dow finished dead flat, while the Nasdaq rose 0.75%. An index is an average of a war. When someone tells you the market went up, ask them which market. Wednesday, there were at least 2. So how does a day like that end? Quietly, which is the point. Once the sellers failed at the floor for the 7th time, they were done. The index climbed off the shelf all afternoon and closed at 77.48, up 0.25%, right in the middle of the day's range. And now you can read the silent tell. The number came in perfect. The fear collapsed. Sellers threw everything they had at the tape for 2 hours and couldn't even fill a 10-point gap. That's not an accident. That's positioning. Buyers were already set before the print, and they defended their line 7 times without breaking a sweat. So here's the level that matters now. 77.38. Floor holds, the relief is real. Floor breaks, and that gap finally fills. The whole Wednesday story was rented, not owned. The headline told you nothing happened. The tape told you exactly who's in control. Read the tape. That's the replay.